Lonzo Ball. And Lonzo Ball has had a pretty good season thus far. He's averaging 15 points per game, 4 rebounds, 5 assists, shooting 43% from the field and 39% from 3, and averaging 1.3 steals per game. And in the last 10 games, averaging 16, 6, and 3. Has Lonzo finally found his footing in the NBA? And I'll start this, and I'll say I think Lonzo has. When you watch him play, it's clear that he's playing with assertiveness. He's more aggressive on the offensive end. It looks like he's getting after it every possession. He's not afraid to go and drive to the basket and create his own shot. Something that early in his career, we chastised him for doing a lot. But now I see him on back-to-back possessions, pulling up from 3, going to the basket. They're putting him in pick-and-roll situations. So, he's the main ball handler in those situations. He's not just being used as a spot-up shooter. And I think that's helping Lonzo tremendously. I think this is the year that we're starting to see considerable growth in his game. And his three-point percentage has been going up every single season. He's one of the better three-point shooters in the league right now. And I think he deserves a lot of credit for that. I mean, this is a player that we thought we were all getting when he came out of UCLA and was a second overall pick. He's finally becoming that. And in a contract year, he had to become that. There were talks about the Pelicans trading him early in the year. There are still some of those rumblings now. So because of that, I think it gave Lonzo a chip on his shoulder to kind of show out. I also think him seeing LaMelo play so well is kind of giving him another chip. But no doubt about it, Lonzo, he's already a great defender, a great passer, and he's improved so much as a shooter and scorer. He's going to get paid this offseason because he brings a lot to a team.
KD just took Levine. I'm sick. I don't want to say I definitely say he's like, it's hard to assess that Pelicans team with the way they're constructed and how bad they are built. But Lonzo's definitely, you can see with his brother coming into the league and getting the shine he's getting, you could definitely see the little jealousy in the way he's trying to step his game up. I would say, though, that we do see this a lot throughout Lonzo's career. He goes into these stretches where he shows he can be that type of player. So it's hard to really fully give you an answer, but I would say if he keeps it going, I would say, yeah, he's got to go. I mean, you can see he's shown a little confidence in his game. He's starting to gel even more with Brandon Ingram and Zion Williamson. Zion now being more healthy than he was. You can definitely see their games starting to connect. But Lonzo does this every year. He goes through these stretches where he shows he can be that player, and then he fizzles out. I want to see the consistency with him. I think this Pelicans spot is the best spot for him in a contract year. But I don't know. I've seen this too much from Lonzo, so I have I don't know answer right now.
I just think it's crazy, the 3-point percentage. If nothing else in his game, not only is he shooting, 40% I think is a benchmark for elite 3-point shooters in the league. Yeah. He's at 39.6 on over seven attempts a game. He's at 7.7 attempts per game. So that is elite 3-point shooting from a guy who has pretty much been chastised his whole career for his shooting motion and his issues shooting the ball. So now having that come around, we already knew he was an elite perimeter defender. He's a great passer of the basketball. He is like the facilitator. Like that's the guy you want running your offense. And now the offensive, like scoring the basketball is starting to come around. Shooting the basketball is starting to come around. He's going to get paid a lot of money this offseason, and I think it will be a good investment for a team. Because he can, although he doesn't do it all at an elite level, he can do it all for your team. Like he can rebound, he can pass, he can defend. The shot is starting to come around. So I think he would be a great investment for a team this offseason.
See, you talked about the stretch Alonzo goes on. I mean, you have a point, but I mean, he's averaging 15 for the year, basically. He's shooting 39% for the season. So this is not just a stretch.
And we're a good amount into the season.
Yes, this has been basically half the year, and he has been doing this. He started out a little bit rough, but now he's getting it going. I think because LaMelo is showing out, because I think pressure has been lifted off Alonzo, he doesn't have to exceed his expectations. I think he's much more comfortable in the role of people thinking he sucks rather than people thinking he's going to be a megastar. I think he's much more comfortable with that. He likes not having the pressure on him, and because of that, it's allowing him to thrive more. Because there are some people that they don't like a lot of attention. They don't like pressure. There are some people that they'd rather be under the radar, do their job, and go home and not have the media swirling around them. I think Lonzo is one of those guys. He doesn't want to have the media talking about him 24/7 if he can become this player or exceed this expectation. He kind of wants the media to have a narrative of him that he's not so good. And then when you see him play, you're like, wow, he actually is really good. There are some players like that in the league, and I think Lonzo fits that better. He's a low-key guy. You can tell he's introverted. He's more to himself. Where you see LaMelo, he's an extrovert. LaMelo wants the spotlight on him. LaMelo wants to be the superstar. He wants to have attention, and he thrives on it. You can see the energy that he feeds off that type of energy. He loves being the center of attention. I think Lonzo is much more to the side. He's just low-key with his stuff, and I think it's helping him out this season because, going into this year, the narrative around Lonzo was that he was a lost cause. And we thought he was such a lost cause that LaMelo was going to be bad as well. A lot of people kind of labeled LaMelo that as well. So because of that, I think Lonzo was striving because he doesn't have to live up to these expectations.
Yeah, and you can even go back to his high school days where Chino Hills was essentially a national sensation. I remember watching those videos on YouTube in school of those three dominating. And even back then, he was not, with all the attention they got, he was never the face of it. Like, he would have a crazy game and have nothing to say about it. He has that famous video of him crossing the kid over and helping him up. Like, he was never the entertainer.
Yeah.
That was always LaMelo. And even then, to a lesser extent, I think LiAngelo was more of an entertainer than he was. I think he's just a baller, and he likes to be to himself. He raps on the side. Like, he just plays the game because he loves it. He doesn't do it for the stardom. And I think the worst thing that could have happened to his career was two things, actually. One, him being the first of his brothers to make it to the league because he was still attached to his father. His father thought he had the blueprint with the BBB shoes, the Los Angeles limelight, and that's the other thing. Getting drafted to Los Angeles, playing with LeBron, it was not a good situation for a guy who is laid back, doesn't want to be in the spotlight, because between his dad boosting him up, the shoes, being in Los Angeles with LeBron, expecting to be a championship contending team, it was a disastrous situation for him to be in. And, although he never lived up to those shoes, he never filled those shoes. Now, being in New Orleans, getting to really work through his game, and like you said, his brother now starting to take the spotlight, I feel like it's just a perfect concoction. And I think that this is only the beginning. I think you're going to see him get better from. He's 23 years old. Like, that's the thing we seem to forget. You can kind of get fatigued to some of these guys after a couple of years, but we've seen guys turn their careers around early on. D'Angelo Russell's another guy who was in Los Angeles. It didn't work out, and people kind of just totally forgot about him. He went to Brooklyn, turned his career around. I think that this is only the start for Lonzo Ball.